Hey, what's up, guys? This is Sean Realty here. Today, I would like to talk to you about a primary home, whether it's a liability or if it's your asset. I think the answer might really be depending on who you're talking to. If you're talking to people like Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad and Poor Dad, he defines a primary home as a liability because of the debt, the mortgage that you have to pay back to the bank. However, the way I look at it is it's an asset because I've seen over and over again when my past clients sell their home that they lived in like 5 years to maybe 25 years, when they sell, they gain a lot of equity. And when I see that, there are a couple things that I'm thinking about. If they didn't invest in anything else, that's the only asset that they actually gained equity, the return, big time return, because they bought it many years ago and they lived in it. They paid down the mortgage. Is when you do a cash refinance and take the money, the equity out of the home and you keep that home, you have to pay the mortgage again, but you can actually get that money out of the home without selling. Or when you sell that home, you are going to get that gain. So in my opinion, it's very, safer way to invest because there have been only, 2 times in the last couple of decades that the real estate price went down. The most recent one was in 2008. As you all know, we probably lost about 40% in the countrywide. But when you compare that with any other the investments like stock or anything else, crypto especially, their volatility is way worse. So for example, the dot-com early 2000, home prices didn't go down. So that's a good indicator that the real estate is really safe and sound investment opportunities. And that's why I see the primary home as an asset, not a liability. Another way to look at it is it does start as a liability because the second month after you buy a home, you have to pay the mortgage. Otherwise, you get defaulted and you lose the home. However, once it starts building equity, it does turn into an asset because it's going to keep accumulating that wealth, the equity. At the same time, you're reducing your mortgage balance. I see oftentimes people who live there for that long, that's the only asset that they have. They probably have could have done better by pulling out some money, out of the equity pool, and maybe they could have bought in more, investment properties, or maybe they could have invested in something else. But even if they didn't do that, at least the primary home itself has gained the equity. So they end up doing pretty well compared to, let's say, hypothetically, if they rent it the whole time, they're not going to have that kind of equity building asset. So people don't call it equity building liability. That's my opinion. Owning a home is like the first step toward starting an investment portfolio. And over time is going to open up other investment opportunities because of that, the wealth building. That's why I highly, highly advocate home ownership compared to renting. And like I said, it is a very sound investment strategy for most of us. Another reason why I think it's a wealth building opportunity is because you can leverage. What I mean by that is, for example, if you want to buy $500,000 worth of stocks and you go to the bank, hey, can I borrow $480,000? I'll put in my $20,000 to buy the $500,000 stocks. I guarantee you there's no bank will lend you that money. However, when you're buying a home, banks will just line up to give you the $480,000 as a loan to you, as long as you can come up with about $20,000 in down payment, which is about 3.5%. And then there's a little bit for closing cost, like $10,000. So if you prepare about 5.5% of your market, sort of like an average priced homes, you should be able to get a loan. So you can actually leverage that. So you're borrowing other people's money, the bank's money, and you own an asset that grows in value that you can sell down the road. So that part is the only thing that I know, other than buying like a businesses, like cash flowing businesses, but the money that you can borrow there is a lot less significant than what you can borrow from home. The individual homeownership is becoming more important as like hedge fund or Wall Street money is buying up residential properties. So what they're doing right now in 2022 is, because other investment strategies have been really volatile, they're putting their investors' money into real estate, and in some cases they're just buying up the whole neighborhood, like a block of like 400 homes all at once, and they're turning those into rental properties. And then they're keeping those like long term so that they can see the appreciation, the equity gain, and then the cash flow from the rental that they get. And so those homes, not many are talking about this, but those homes may not hit the market for sale for a long time, or it may never. I mean, if this hedge fund and the Wall Street figure it out, or they may already have figured it out, they keep buying up these properties, which means that there are more competition for regular home buyers like you and me. And then because of the higher competition, it drives up the price, which then it kind of forces out sort of like a lower price range buyers, because they can afford it anymore, especially when the interest rate is higher than before, like now. My original country, like South Korea, they limit the investor buying up these investment properties pretty heavily because they have limited size land, limited real estate, and they want to control the inflation of the real estate prices. I like to have the option to invest in real estate in certain degree, but when it comes to like hedge fund buying up thousands of homes, that's a different story in my opinion. It just drives up the market too much. But I don't know where it's going, but America is an open market society. So, the more you have, the more you can buy, which is good and bad. It's pros and cons both. Lastly, just start saving up that down payment and the closing costs. And no matter what they say, you can still find the good deals in any market. And so you educate yourself and look for the right opportunity, especially if you have the steady income and you're going to stay in your city for like 2+ years. Buying your primary home, you're going to be thanking me down the road. So thanks so much for watching. And if you're thinking about buying or selling in the Portland, Oregon market, you can give me a call and we can talk. If you're in the other side of the country, I may have some good connections for you too. So feel free to reach out and leave any comments if you have any questions, and follow if you haven't. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.